We are one potential game away from crowning a different champion. One of the first LCS affiliate teams to go practically undefeated in PGCQ. But before all that, we gotta talk about what happened in Game 2. Welcome back to That's Grab joined here by RMC and Curry. Homies, things are looking up for one team specifically, Curry. And there's this particular reason why.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it really just comes back down to the draft. I think we talked about it after the first game. We said that this draft is not very cohesive. We said that they needed to really find, something that is a lot easier for them to play, something that is a lot more to their style. And then in game 2, they ended up doing the exact opposite. They actually ended up picking a comp that's actually even harder to play. I think that the Nocturne and the LeBlanc, I think blinding these two champs without seeing the mid laner was a huge problem. I think that there's really no cohesion in terms of what the comp wants to do. Does it want to poke and kite? Does it want to go in? What is it trying to do? Which lane are we playing off of? They picked the Ezreal Karma before they even saw the support, and then they just picked Nautilus, which was a great pick. And I think their comp just didn't give them a lot of options because they wanted to pressure early, but they have a weak mid 2v2 early, and, they didn't have any options to really blow up in the game. Do we go bot? Do we go mid? Losing top matchup. And when it came to team fighting, I mean, same problem. No engage, really. Nocturne could go in, but there's no follow-up. And 100 Thieves, just strong lanes, good comp, and good 2v2s, and they just ran away with the game, really. The Wukong pick was fantastic again. Really enabled the early game, mid-game, engage, everything. And it's a really easy game, honestly, for 100 Thieves to play.
Well, Curry, before I agree with you about draft, I've got to say, bold of you to assume that Rav was talking about 100 Thieves next when he said that things are looking up for a team here. For Fear, you've got nowhere to go but up. Like, I agree with you. That draft was really rough. And I felt like it didn't allow us to see the things that we wanted to see from Fear, right? We know Dragoon can carry a game, and you're blind picking him Gwen game after game after game. Sure, he can carry, but if he's getting counterpicked the entire time, he can't do that. Likewise with Trickster. I think yesterday had some of his best performances yet, and it wasn't on a champion that had no agency pre-6. It was on things like the Talia where, you can go around pre-6, get the ganks off, get pressure, invade the enemy team. Likewise for Blaze. I love the fact that you mentioned LeBlanc got line picked, because when Blaze popped off, it's when he has good lanes to work off of. Get him snowballing. We said that in the pregame. Yes, Fear don't always get a big lead, but when they do get an early game lead, that's when they look best. And I really want to see that in Game 3. If 100X is banning Lilia and Talia again, like Pyro was saying, why are they not picking Wukong? It's free. I would love to see them pick that, and I would love to see Trickster get to pop off on that.
Yeah, because there's one main reason as well, because you saw how Fnatic was always at the right place at the right time in our first replay as well. He continued this trend throughout this entire game here, RMC, where he decided that it does not matter what the Nocturne was, I'll be there first.
Yeah, and this was a good attempt from Trickster, because a lot of times you see Nocturne just power farm to level 6, have no impact early, and you can't do that when you've got so many losing lanes. So Trickster going for this play, it's a good try, and it would have worked in a 2v1 situation, but you saw Fnatic just come in, and Fnatic read it perfectly. They kind of had a little bit of vision and knowledge that, hey, Trickster's on bot side of the map. Our bot is shoved in, but safe, so there's only really one place he can go, and Fnatic read them like a book, and that was just the first instance of it. Throughout the entire game, Fnatic just always seemed to be a step ahead.
And with that trend almost continuing too, you saw how, Curry, you were mentioning their 2v2s continue to scale. And although they were able to find opportunities to, shut down Sniper at certain points, but he was left isolated more often than not in the 1v1. Although Dragoon did well, it's still a Sniper, right? He's still on the Jason, so if you give him an opportunity, he'll manage to claw his way back. But that bot lane as well too was something that we were looking at a lot through this entire game, and that on its own did so well. And I want to go back to the point they were saying too, when all of cylinders were firing on all ends, Fnatic decided, let's flip through the pages of the Sunday paper some more.
Yeah, so I think here you kind of see like what Fear needs to do. Like they want to make a play on their bot, it's their only play. But again, it's just Fnatic being at the right place at the right time. Right when this wave crashes, he's here and ready to instantly counter the play. Even Darkwing's moving in on the back of the play, but honestly, just Fnatic being there was enough. And to me, that really sums up kind of like how Fear has been playing, how they've been drafting, which is like they're putting themselves in these really desperate situations where they need to make something happen. And it's very obvious, and Fnatic is doing the right thing where he's being in the right place. And if they don't make that play, then the game is going to get even worse for them. So it does look like a disaster. It is what they have to do. So it is props to them as the players for making those plays. Because if they don't, then the game is completely it's going to be even harder.
Yeah.
But with Fnatic countering, it just looks like, you know, there's no options. So for me, I think that the answer for Fear is like simplify. Like these games, like they're trying too many things. They're like, they want to do this and that. They want a bot lane and they want, like, they're diving mid lane. Really, they should just go back to what worked. Good carries, strong carries on mid, agency on their jungler, lots of engage, which they have not had. Just keep it simple. It's what 100 Thieves have been doing. Just steal it from their playbook. It's what worked for them before. And I think if they go back to it, they can still turn the series around. But this is their last chance to do it. So hopefully we see them do it soon.
Yeah, and speaking to that simplify card, just pick Ornn, right? Like we saw it last night. It works so well for Dragoon here. It gives you that scaling insurance. And while we know Dragoon to be, you know, that big lane bully, that big carry, he doesn't always have to do that. He is able to sit back and play that Ornn, play that more scaling style to allow resources to be funneled elsewhere for the team. And to me, I agree with Curry. That's what I'm looking for. Simplify. Pick a comp that isn't as hard to execute, because your players are doing really, really well. Like, as much as, you know, we're saying that Trickster's ganks didn't quite succeed last game, it's not for lack of trying, right? Like Curry was saying, it's the only play you have to make. So if you give yourself a bit more options here, your players are good on Fear. That's never been the question. Give them the ability to play to that strength.
Yeah, and just quickly, like, just the Ornn pick also neutralizes a lot of snipers' champ pool. Like, when you pick Gwen, you let him play the Riven, the Jace, all these great things. You pick Ornn, those champs become a lot worse. So I think that's a great pick, and hopefully they go to it this game.
Backs against the wall currently is what Fear is facing. And although they were not able to shake up our hearts, but right now they must work and exercise their minds if they are to try to survive. And for 100 Thieves, things have been looking up and up consistently. The strong picks and just good overall comps have led to their success currently. And I'm sure Papa Smithy's out there smiling, looking at them thinking, okay, boys, let's go ahead and bring it home. But only one game remains from them being able to do so. And only two people can lead you through it. That being Pyra and Smacks. Y'all, let's get it.
Whew, thank you once again, Ravaging. Every time we get that toss, man, I gotta let that cool off for a second. But we don't have any time, Smacks, because we're about to get into Game 3. It could be the final game here for PGCQ Summer #1. And if it is a sweep on the side of 100 Thieves next, yeah, Papa Smithy will be happy. It won't be the only one. This team has looked so good, so clean. I hope that Cincinnati Fear have been listening in, because they definitely could use some draft recalibration here. If they manage it, if we can get a series to bring it back from the brink, we have seen some crazier stuff happen.
Well, the first recalibration that could happen did not happen. I have to spoil everybody, as Fear did select blue for the third time in a row, so they won't be going for any crazy counter picks, and they won't be going for any of those strategies that we typically see over there. Perhaps this means that they will be first picking Gwen again. We're just going to have to find out. I agree with you, though, Pyra, that they really do need to figure something else out new, because this draft situation that they're in is not something that we were really excited to see again. All these burst champions, and yeah, it's not the big Dragoon Smash from the Darius either that he's been playing so much recently. So
it feels like Fear haven't played up to their strengths, right? And that's the thing that's been so odd to see in two games. One game you can understand it, they're trying to feel things out, but they commit the same mistakes in game number 2. Third time here. Maybe that's the charm. They are going to be on the blue side. We see the same ban again. I want to see the take away the Wukong, to be honest. If you are going to stick with these same bans, take the Wukong away, give it to Trickster, make Fnatic do something different this time. The Gwen has not been that impactful.
Yeah. I like first picking Wukong. I also like banning Wukong if they want to do that too. But as you mentioned or alluded to in the last game, maybe banning Xayah would be a good idea, as Lens has really had an affinity towards that champion recently, 2 times in this series and once yesterday. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lens wants to just go for the 3-peat. But, you know, at the same time, I've been an AD carry player before. I know that AD carry players get a little bit bored sometimes, and, you know, maybe it's time for a little shakeup.
Possibly. I don't know if you want to bank on that if you're Cincinnati Fear, but for the 100 Thieves next side, they do have a lot of opportunities. So far, same bans, game 1, game 2, now game 3. Lucian's off the board again. 100 next, contemplating their next move, if things go as to be expected. We saw the Taliyah being banned out as well, and I believe the Senna, there it goes. So, no Senna Kench yet again for Sketch and Plux. have found a way to neutralize that one. I really want to see what Fear do. They themselves ban out the Gwen. That is our first change-up in ban phases.
That's actually true, yeah. So moving that away from the pool of Sniper, making sure that he can't counterpick anything with that. Maybe this is setting up for that Wukong first pick that you mentioned before here for Trickster. That could be the option. Could be any number of things for him. Maybe something like a Viego as well. It's something that Fnatic has really enjoyed playing recently too. So there are a few options there for Trickster. I feel like it's likely going to be him first picking even still because with Gwen off the table, I don't really feel like Dragoon wants to go for any counter or any blind picks if he can avoid it. And yeah, it will be that Wukong.
So Wukong's locked in. I think Dragoon always has the opportunity to try and pull something out a bit different. Again, the Darius is always an opportunity if you want to go for the skill match, if you could trust yourself. So with the Wukong locked in for Trickster on the 100 next side, Fnatic will now move over to the Viego. Still a terrifying champion in the hands of Fnatic, but honestly, what isn't?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'd be scared of Fnatic even if I saw him lock in Ivern or something, because he's just on a tear recently. And yeah, just like we were expecting, yep, Xayah locked in for Lens. He's not going to get too bored quite yet. Locking in that one for a third time in a row today.
I wonder if we see a Rakan takeaway on this one. I mentioned it last time when we were considering the Diana Yasuo composition, which, by the way, Wukong Yasuo is also a thing. Not as much of a thing, but it can work.
Hey,
yep,
they're thinking about it with the Rakan. Oh, they were considering it for just a moment, but instead, back to the main character here for Sketch. Yeah. And, ooh, this would be interesting.
They talked about this on the desk. Ornn neutralizing a lot of what Sniper would like to play, sets them up for great team fights. Look at the front line that Cincinnati Fear build for themselves if they lock this in.
So there is one thing that you have to consider when locking in Ornn, is that Sniper, yes, it does deny a lot of the champions that he really likes to play, but there's one recently that he's been looking better and better on, and it's a bit of a surprising one, and that's the Vladimir. It's not something that will kill the Ornn, but it is something that will definitely survive the Ornn and be able to just farm from afar if he does want to lock that one in. And the reason it's so surprising that Sniper is playing this champion a lot more is because it's a ranged champion. It's the only ranged champion that he's ever played in any competitive setting at all, because he just started this year. He's only played melee champions except for Vladimir, and I think that's hilarious.
You said, like, it's surprising for like an odd reason, and I was racking my brain for a second, like, what's so weird about Vlad? And then yeah, he doesn't play non-ranged. He doesn't play ranged champions. Yeah, Vlad is, I guess, shorter range. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I guess we're seeing the development of young player as we see many more Enchanter Sports removed from the board here. I want to see what Cincinnati Fear do end up answering with up against the Xayah Rakan. Obviously, Jinx can be a very high priority target to take down. We know Flux has been not shy about those enchanters. Will not get nearly as many of them as we would like. As we go into pick phase 2, or 3 rather.
There's something on this screen that I think is so interesting, and probably something that is making the 100 Thieves members laugh a little bit, and that is the Gangplank ban. Because going into this split, Sniper was given the task from the other members of 100 Thieves Next to learn how to play Gangplank, because he's had a lot of bruisers in his pool for a very long time. He's very adept at playing these bruisers, but the Gangplank is something that's very strong in the meta right now, and is something that he realistically should know how to play if he's going to be weak side in a lot of these games, and that's something that's going to happen if he's going to move up to Academy and up to LCS. He's not going to be strong side every game, so Gangplank's a really good pick to have. And he spent a lot of time figuring out how to play this champion. He played it a lot in this tournament. And now it's all culminating in what could be the final game of the tournament. He's getting it respectfully banned away from him. And I think that is wonderful.
Sniper is a young player with many, many talents that all should fear. It seems to be the Tom Kench locked in. And this is what we wanted to see from Cincinnati Fear, the victor that Blaze has started to make a name for himself on. We've got scaling, we've got front line. Under these next, though, they've got a lot of comfort for themselves. They've got a reset champion, the Viego. They've got a side lane threat in the Jax. We just have to see what Darkwing's pick is up against this victor.
Very, very big draft shakeup here for Fear. They are completely locked and loaded in terms of the 5v5 team fights. They are playing durable, they are playing scaling, and they are playing for the explosions later on. But speaking of explosions, they will have to deal with this new pocket pick, newly reworked here. Darkwing is getting his hands on the Noxian Might. The Swain, the General, is here for him, as I believe it was RMC earlier who dubbed this the final boss pick that Blaze now has to go up against.
Absolutely. And if they win this game, it'll still be 2 more to climb back for Fear to try and take a win here in this BGCQ summer. Oh my goodness. Fear laying it out on the table. It took him a couple of draft smacks, but we finally get to see the front to back, the scaling, the damage, the hyper carry pop off that we were hoping for. But for 100 Thieves next, they say, all right, you got everything we wanted. Let's see if you can beat this.
Pyra, are you a Legends of Runeterra player?
I am not, surprisingly.
Okay.
But I do respect the people who put the time and effort into learning it.
It's a great game, but specifically right now, I want to bring up when you have Swain on the board. Are you familiar with the mechanics of the game?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's the
so when
back and
Swain,
forth that makes it hard for my brain.
Yeah, when Swain levels up, he does this big animation where he like lays out this huge map of a battlefield, and he slams down a stamp on the top of it, and he's just like, "All right, it's time. We're making our play right now." And it's like such a cool animation, and that's exactly what my mind went to when they pick this R5 counter pick in what could be the final game. 100 Thieves up 2-0 against Cincinnati Fear, and Darkwings is bringing out the dark tech, as we know he likes to do.
And he is slamming down a book as well. It's the Unsealed Spellbook for a lot lower CD on his summoners as they will rotate around. Of course, plays on the first strike on the opposite side. We are ready to get into this. Ooh, okay. My goodness, the stakes just got raised here. Erewhon going to shave his head if Fear get the reverse sweep. Now, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will.
That's a Kangas bet right there.
Yeah, that's going all in.
That's a Kangas level wager to go for. Kangas, the guy who bets his beard on literally everything imaginable, just so he can get a clean shave in. That's his secret. He kind of wants to shave the beard every now and again sometimes, but yeah, it works quite well because sometimes he wins the bet and then he just has to keep the beard forever, and it's wonderful.
And then we all win.
Oh, and there's the screenshot. Look at that.
The screenshot from it. This is we got the receipts. So
yep,
Cincinnati
no bamboozle.
Fear. Can you do it? Can you make Erewhon shave? Go full bald for this one. Kangas on as we get into our draft. I love the Tom Kench Jinx lane. It's always a fun one to watch, but Zaya Rakan, especially in the hands of Lens and Sword, is rough. As we already see Plux taking some early damage. You know, the old classic combo, obviously, was the pre-rework Tom Kench, when you got to swallow your allies a lot more often. But it's still pretty brutal.
Ah, yes. It definitely is, as we're getting a nice another trade onto Sketch. Heal forced already. Look at all this damage. Flashing after him.
Looking for level 1. Lenzy's going all in for it. He gets the first blood, and he will die, but it's Plux that gets the kill credit. 100 Thieves next have no fear of Cincinnati.
Man, getting that first blood onto Lenzen. Look at that wave one more time as well. The blue minions heavily outnumber the red, as this does mean that Sketch is going to miss a whole lot more than Lens as he's walking back down. Looking mid instead, though, just for a brief moment. Blaze forced very heavily back, and the same thing is going to be true for Dragoon, as he's not winning this trade against Sniper.
Ooh, not at all. It wasn't much of a trade. It was more like Sniper wailing on him, and he just tried to walk out of it. Orin can trade surprisingly well, but yeah, there we go. A little bit on the bellows breath, and that's going to help out a little. All the same, though, I mean, Sniper, you think of a Jax as like that late-game side lane threat that you just can't shut down. Whenever Sniper has a champion that does damage, I feel like that threat has to go a lot faster.
Ooh. This is a level 3 Wukong here. Can they actually do anything? Lens does not have any summoner spells. Got to get through all the shielding.
Okay. Oh, really great hold on those Flame Choppers, but it's a good dodge away. Now it's Plux who takes the damage. Goes down even in the 3v2. Sketch will manage to get the kill. Even though the flash was burned by Sword after the fact, it is a 1-for-1 trade. I think it still favors 100 next, though, because they had so much investment in this mid lane. Fnatic going to try and equalize. Blaze has half his health bar.
Okay, Blaze, no mana. He's going to have to flash this. There he goes. Does escape it, but that's another flash used, and Cincinnati Fear are on the run. I do want to say that was a good dive, and it was a good result for Cincinnati Fear right there. Again, just like the last game, it is because they were able to push the wave underneath the turret and deny all these minions away from Lens. Leaving Sketch alive is also crucial because he's able to stay there and collect all of that. He did have to recall because he, again, is taking very heavy amounts of damage, but it does deny a lot from Lens, and that was the goal. It was what Cincinnati Fear got out of it, and it was a successful one at that.
And now we have both supports roaming up into the mid lane and trying to help with the push effort. Flux does not manage to find the Tongue Lash onto Sword. Checking back in with the top lane. It's actually a level advantage for Dragoon here, and he's starting to trade a little bit better. There we go. Bellows Breath. Yeah, that's the thing you got to watch out for with the Ornn is the damage over time starts to sting.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of sustain, keep in mind, with that Grasp of the Undying.
That was so interesting, too. I don't know if he caught that, but Sniper, in the middle of his leap strike, actually got knocked up by the little pillar as it spawned just underneath him, and it forced him to take all that extra damage from the Bellows Breath. That was really interesting. And Sniper... Oh, nice dodge.
Going for another dive. Once again, here comes the Counter-Strike through. He steps in. They're not taking any damage from the turret because they didn't attack. And, yeah, I guess go next. Reset.
Oh, wait. Sniper has a level lead onto Trickster. He was still level 3, mind you.
Trickster has actually done quite a lot in lanes, but he hasn't really been putting the farm numbers up. Meanwhile, though, down to the bot side, Fnatic hasn't had that trouble as he looks to cut them off here. Flame Chompers drop pretty early on. Sword goes up to try and set up the kill for Lens. It will be Fnatic who claims it goes for the reset, but they do manage to bring Plux over to try and get Sword off the back of it, even though they already took Lens, a 1-for-1 trade. They'd love to get a bit more on this dive now, but they can't quite do it. So it's kind of pretty similar to the last result, just in reverse. Here comes the call. The Forge God up topside. Sniper flashes, doesn't quite clear it, and a nice 1-2 punch from the jungle top duo.
Oh, wow. And this is a lot denied from Sniper, too. Very devastating exchange as Trickster. He was just trying to kill the Krugs. And Sniper thought that he was favored in that exchange, but Trickster gains a whole lot more health and mana when he's in that jungle, thanks to the jungler privilege, as my good friend Joshi likes to call it. You get all of that from just taking Smite and taking the jungle item into the game of League of Legends, and Sniper does not have that same level of sustain, so he goes down, and yeah, like you said, the flash, I thought he was going to dodge it, but unfortunate. Did not quite get out of the range.
Okay, we get to see this play down bottom again, because for a while it actually looked like a really good setup, even with the Flame Chompers. Sword goes in to set up the play, but Lens takes 2 tower shots, and they sting.
They really do. And he had to do that because he was the range champion. He was the one furthest away from the turret, but he just did not think that he would take 2 shots there. No summoner spells to keep himself alive. Unfortunate on that bottom lane dive that he did actually go down. He's now dead 3 times in this game. These bottom laners just really cannot catch a break, both of them. They're just so high octane in all 3 of these games.
Yeah, try to accelerate as much as possible. I do think this is obviously a much better start here for Cincinnati Fear, as they have a very, very slim gold lead in this one and have shown an ability to play across the map right now. We haven't really checked in with the mid lane as much, but of course, Blaze's job is just try to hold the line right now. He just doesn't want to die in this game. Up to the Swain, start feeding him up. Here comes Fnatic. Now on the bot side, that's sniffed out. Dodging the Swain Global, the Vision of Empire that just keeps coming. The Eye of Sauron, sniffing around every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. I always thought that Vision of Empire was a clunky name for an ability.
It's like, not the clunkiest I've seen.
Is
Remember
it?
Old Urgot?
Is it not? What was his ultimate called?
It was the Hyperkinetic Position Reverser. That was a tongue twister, man.
Ah, yes. No, that's just funny though. That's a good.
It is funny, but it's a lot of syllables. Let's be honest. There are a number of abilities that I look at that and I'm just like, nah, I'm calling that an R. If I don't have any time.
Do you have the Heimerdinger ability numbers memorized?
Oh gosh, no. That is one that always gets me. That and the Aphelios guns. I'm always like, it's the red one. Oh, not again. I'm really glad Aphelios is less in this meta, to be honest. But we got another fight going right now as Fnatic actually gets jumped on by Trickster, exhausted. And here comes that Swain in the Demonic Ascension. And you can see why. I think Cincinnati Fear, oh boy, running for the hills right now. The Vision cutting him off, trying to get the Death's Hand through as well. The Death Laser not doing nearly enough sustain. Darkwings claims a victim.
There is no escape from that Swain ultimate. RMC brought it up at the top of the show. This is so scary to go into skirmishes and 5v5s against his Plux. So, goodbye.
All right, well, things were looking a little bit better, but now they've started to go the 100 Thieves way yet again. Miss from Plux. They're stepping very far forward into the brush and getting a free kill over.
Oh, yeah. Plux was giving it his all right there, trying to delay any recalls. But Lens and Sword, they recall together, after all, as they are the lovers duo, and can't quite manage it. Do you want to give a quick shout-out? Tweet out hashtag #WeAreUnified, and your tweet can show up on twitch.tv/academy, which is where we are right now, if you're watching us live.
Fancy that. You can get satisfaction in real time.
I sent out a tweet that was hashtag #WeAreUnified just a bit ago.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be about
my
Swain.
tweet will show up.
Yeah,
Maybe
Swain
it will.
is the host of the Demon of Secrets. That is, I don't know what that is, but that's terrifying, by the way. Yeah. I will say, in the note of other Riot games, as I am a noted TFT player, Swain, a very, very strong champion with against whose Rage Blade on the board. Because he goes into that demon form, and he just goes pew, 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 pew. He's kind of like the new champion. He's kind of like Belveth, just like constantly attacking you.
Oh, we're not allowed to talk about Belveth yet. She's not enabled on this patch.
No, but when she is...
No, don't remind me that she's coming out.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it. I've been okay. So I've been playing jungle a lot more to try to learn that role. I've been playing a lot of Udyr, which has been very fun. But I can't tell you how many times I've played against Belveth and just been confused. I've read the abilities, but I still don't know what's going on because she just stands there, hits me 40 times, and takes 0. I don't know what's happening.
I'm gonna help you out here, Smacks, because like this is one of those situations where like as an analytical person, an analytical player, you overthink it. This is the simple answer. You stack attack speed, and Belveth go burr. That's it. That's the whole thing. Just like right now, Swain go burr. Darkwings. He's gonna get the kill with a little assistance from Fnatic. 2-0 now on the Swain. They got the dragon stack going. Cincinnati's in trouble.
Darkwings really did just go burr right there. Again, there's no way for Blaze to escape this. I told you earlier that these counter picks are just so devastating from Darkwings, and the fact that Cincinnati Fear went back to the blue side for a 3rd time in a row to give Darkwings the counter pick for a 3rd time in a row, you have to have something that is going to survive this. But now with 2 kills in a row onto Darkwings, it's just not looking like Blaze can keep up today.
How many kills in a row?
A lot. I said in a row a lot of times, but the number's wild.
It's going to keep growing, I think. At the moment, the Swain's starting to roll online, starting to bring the pain a little bit. You're starting to see the items stacking up back as they tried to go for a dive that was sniffed out pretty early. I think Fnatic was also coming to the rescue. But yeah, I mean, if you just look at what's happening here for Darkwings, he's been using his summoner spells pretty liberally as well, which, I mean, you know, you're running unsealed spellbooks, so you can. He knows he can do the outplay, and I think on this Swain, as you said, RMC called the final boss pick, and it's showing up right now. Blaze's job is to just survive. They need to get late game, right? You have a Jinx. You can get to that 3-item win condition. Now they find Sniper, and they are going to set up here. It's actually a pretty good start as he does flash and hop away. They burn a summoner, but there's friends coming.
There are. We have Sword. He almost has quickness. There it is. This could be a very devastating 3v3 as Fnatic into the stealth. He's looking. He's hunting.
Yeah, they are. They're going to get that knock up, and the big CC chain incoming, but Sketch is staying alive. He's just not dishing the damage right now. They don't even need to as the Call to Forge God comes out a little too late. Dragoon is trying to save the day, but so many members of the Cincinnati Fear starting to fall right now, dropping like flies to Darkwings and crew.
Knock up.
As they turn, they juggle. Sniper doesn't fall. The triple kill, looking for more. He's gonna find the Quadra, and with the wipe, they get the ace.
That's the final boss play right there, Pyra. 6 kills in a row for Darkwings as he still has Ghost active as he's in the base. That's how you know that you just wiped the enemy team. 100 Thieves next explode their lead again. And now Lens, he's taking all this damage onto this turret. That's going to be another play. Look at all this gold.
Last second play, it's really picking him up here, and Man, that whole setup could not have gotten worse for Cincinnati Fear. All the kills, all in the pocket of Darkwings. All he was missing was the Penta, and I think Plux was already dead when he got there.
Man, it's times like these, Pyra, where I kind of feel like a parent whose adult kid just moved back in with them, you know? Like, Darkwings, I love you, man, but why are you here? Why are you not playing in Academy at this point? Go on and do bigger and better things, because you are far too good to be in this league. Look at this. Look at the way he's moving around these plays and these kills. Quadra kill on this Swain, man. What can't he play?
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going to go with that for a minute, and then when you talked to me about, like, yeah, he's stepping it up, he's playing way beyond his level. It's like, yeah, you know, you've had experience in the NBA, and then you go home and play a pickup game and you just dunk on kids. Really well done right now, and it is Darkwings with 6 kills and 0 deaths, 2 assists.
Yeah.
Sniper can't hang on to that, but it doesn't really matter. He is going to get himself into 1v2, so that is a chance to turn around. They do spend a lot, 2 ultimates just to take down the Jacks. And I suppose you have to get something here. Trickster does get the gold credit for it, as Lens will be able to take another tower in the mid. But yeah, the issue of Darkwings continues to be a pressing one. I don't think Cincinnati Fear have had an answer to all series.
Got the Drake coming back up again here, as 100 Thieves next are likely to be securing that one. Did we miss a kill? Oh, we definitely missed a kill.
Oh, yeah. No, we totally did. I was looking at the Swain. Oh, he did take the... Well, okay.
How did Darkwings get that?
I believe that's what they call in the
bird.
business a KS. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, kill secure, you know.
Oh, look, there's my tweet.
100x good. Hey! That's a banger.
Yeah, thanks. I had to think about that a lot. I told you I tweeted one. And that could be you if you tweet #WeAreUnified.
Yeah. I'm just impressed, Max, that you can tweet, wow, casting. That is multitasking at its finest. You're a true millennial icon, you know.
I'm not a millennial. That's my secret. I am Gen.
Oh, okay.
I'm a youngin' here, Pyra.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know, it's you know how you always see those articles about how like millennials are doing this, millennials are killing that business. Just like Darkwings is killing the Cincinnati Fear business right now.
Yep.
Well,
you can spit him out over a wall. That's nice.
Yeah, Plux is gonna die as well, and I think Sketch gets out, but
he's coming.
His support pays the price, and I think Trickster will as well. They are not fooled by that clone for a minute, and this has turned into a good old-fashioned stomp, I think. But what I was gonna say, Smax, is that Chaos Storm doesn't quite get enough to get Sniper down. Is that yeah, those articles always are written like millennials are still in high school. I, as a millennial, just assume everyone else is also millennial. I get weird time violation.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
and this is because I don't have a TikTok.
You should get a TikTok.
I don't have hands for it. I don't have the ability to comprehend it.
See, that's the thing. You don't need to make TikToks to have one. You can just scroll, and the magic is they just know what you want to see. After you do it for 20 minutes, they'll know.
What if I want to see
everything you want?
What if I want to see Cincinnati Fear finding a way back into this game? Will they show me that?
I don't know if they're going to show you that. I don't think
yeah, see, that's my problem. Is I think I asked for too much. There's teleport back from Sniper here, and there is an objective bounty claimed off the back of it. They did actually take a late Herald in this game, but at the moment, it is feeling like Cincinnati Fear are looking for just the smallest things they can get. And as soon as the Swain shows up, yeah, you run for the hills.
Yeah. Cannot deal with this Swain. He has ultimate. Of course he does. He's going to have ultimate in all of these exchanges. It just lasts so long to the point where it's going to be back up after you use it. This is so much damage under the turret, onto the champions, onto everything from 100
Great
Thieves.
help. That is enough to buy some time, but they have enough to be able to get this one in here because Trickster goes through but gets taken down by Sniper, and the Swain brings the pain to follow up more kills. A legendary there for Darkwings. Dragoon bailing out. Here comes Blaze turning around with the Death Laser. They do have an opportunity to try and get something back. Look at how low those health bars are. But he just misses by inches. Blaze on the run. Sword around the side. I think they're getting baited in here, Smacks.
Ooh, they absolutely are. Look at all this damage. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Because Sniper does not have all this tankiness, and the Chaos Storm is still doing a lot. But it's still another kill for 100 Thieves next. And Pyra, We liked the draft a whole lot more for Cincinnati Fear, but the reason we liked it was for the 5v5 team fights, and they're just not delivering quite yet.
They need a lot of time to ramp up. The Jinx is still on an item and a half, and this game is so far out of control right now. Oh, we're going to see this again. I mean, this play, they get something back in the end, but so much gold swings, I think they're single-handedly causing inflation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they really are, honestly. Look at all this damage that they can deal. Flashing underneath that turret. Fnatic has his pick of the litter with all of these corpses on the ground that he can choose from. That's my favorite part about Viego, is when you get like 3 kills at the same time, and it's kind of like choosing a Pokemon. You get to be like, all right, well, do I want the Victor type, the Ornn type, the Wukong type? Let's see.
Yeah, and you can keep doing it as well. Although the one difference is it has a lot more murder involved than Pokemon. So
well,
you know.
Yeah, they're not just fainting here, I guess.
True. Although, to be fair, Pokemon was surprisingly dark. I mean, like when you go to Lavender Town in the first game, like again, I'm showing my age here, Gen 1 stuff. Like, there's ghosts. That song is creepy. That's really creepy.
Really is.
Oh god. Good.
Here comes the Ornn Horn.
Speaking of a horror show, they get charmed up.
Yeah.
They shred through him. Lux is just gonna wave goodbye to his top laner, and meanwhile, Trickster, ooh, okay, still alive. Can he get away? Great escape. Let's see. I don't know if Sketch is going to be so lucky, though. Oh, into the belly of Tom Kench. So dive on the run. Shields are not going to save you forever. He gets yoinked back with the never move. Better rename it to never live.
Oh, wow. Oh, and another kill. There goes Trickster. Looking like a Baron at this point, directly on spawn for 100 Thieves next. Still pushing the bottom lane at the same time. As Sniper's got a couple of these items, he will be able to deal all of the damage to this turret with that Jax passive. And here we are on this Baron. Lens might have to be careful, but the rest of the team's got his back. That is going to be the objective taken alongside the turret. Probably moving over to the Drake at the same time, and 100 Thieves next. They're just going for the clean sweep in 3 games, and in this third one at the same time. 100 Thieves next, they're just so good.
They really are. I mean, it's just incredible. Like, every single time Cincinnati Fear getting open and getting advantage. 100 Thieves next have found more, but let's see if it's going to be enough this time. Here comes Blaze around the side of the teleport. Darkwing's a little low on mana. They turn their attention over to Fnatic. Split focus right now. Gravity Field does come down into the Chaos Storm. They're looking for it. Does Blaze have the damage to dish back? He's got a 2-level deficit here as they summon Rift Herald down the mid lane. The rocket is going to help them do it. The shutdown from downtown as Blaze still picks it up. And Cincinnati Fear, maybe this is the start of something. Smacks as Sniper on the run.
All right. Dies with the Death Dance burn. That's 2 kills and a mid lane turret for Cincinnati Fear. That's a whole lot of gold swinging over them as they're looking top lane at the same time. 100 Thieves next. They're actually tunneling on this Drake right now. And I think they will actually... I don't actually think they can get it. I think Trickster can smite this away.
He's going to pop off outside the pit. Doesn't want to risk his life on that one. But what a turnaround in terms of how much gold they got back for themselves. They're even keeping Sketch. I mean, keep in mind how fast you can hit with the Pow right there. Gets it down to a little above half. And now Cincinnati Fear, you know, they pick up like 3-4 towers in the blink of an eye right there, including the Shelly. Like, taking down Darkwings is huge. But you got to get away. Sketch, you got to get away. You were a little greedy here. Lens is coming around. 2-level difference here. Trying to stutter step, but here comes the rest of the crew. And, oh, I still think that's worth, but, oh, no. Side lane 80 carries.
Yeah, that Infinity Edge crit is crazy from Lens right there. You didn't even need to use the Gale Force or the ultimate. Just an auto attack diff against Jinx. That's a rare sighting, but it's a full item. And if that item is Infinity Edge, is Lens... Now with the rest of the team are back onto the map. It's a lot of gold that Cincinnati Fear just got, but not a whole lot of map pressure and not the lead that they were looking for. They still have to deal with this Baron.
Lens should be able to finish off this inner tower, trying to stem the bleeding in this one as they're pretty much locked into their base. Sketch coming back off a cooldown. They'll have all 5 members to try and play, but 100 Thieves next, they're looking for the victory. And yes, you too! Be like Smacks if you tweet hashtag We Are Unified. As we see there, Kelsey. Sniper dumping in. There is the counter-strike turning around into the choke point, but those are blue health bars evaporating right here, and I think we might see the beginning of the end. But nobody's gone down just yet on the Cincinnati Fear side. Beyond all odds, looking for the Swain.
The
locking him
healing!
up for days. Isolated from the team, but so much sustain! Finally getting the shutdown, the first casualty of this fight. And it was hard-earned as Lens is the one now isolated. Flame choppers up, goes up into the Feather Storm. Still, it's only Blaze that falls, so they have the damage to follow through. The desperation fight here. They're going to be able to do one.
Whoa,
looking
Fnatic!
for two, but Fnatic is on the resets. And I think that has gotta be it soon.
Oh, wow, that's a full ace triple kill for Fnatic. They still have the minions in the base and
Turns into Jinx.
Pyrotechnics. I think we're about to see the winner of Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier 1 in the summer split.
24.5 minutes. They keep improving on their time, Smacks, with a teleport in from Sniper and nobody left standing. This is going to be it. They called themselves 100 Thieves next, but they're 100 Thieves now!
We've only seen 2 teams win the circuit qualifiers in 2022, and it was both of these in this finals, but 100 Thieves Next was the only team that could win games today. 3-0 today, Pyra. Brutal performance, and just like you said, each game was faster than the last.
Incredible, just simply incredible. Every single time they lost something on the map or lost a member, they came back with a vengeance. And it wasn't even Cincinnati Fear overplaying their hand. They were in a deficit from the very beginning of this game. And they just did not ever find an advantage overall because it was always equalized. It was always turned around. A lot of it was Darkwings getting incredibly fed early, but this team is just so good. You can't do it's hands diff, it's team diff,
oh yeah,
it's map diff, it's series diff.
The drafts were crazy too. Shout out to Coach Mist for these. These are so inventive, and Darkwings with these counter picks every time. They're just so good. And if my math is correct, just over 80 minutes of total game time in this best of 5.
I think you're right.
We have our winners. 100 Thieves Next, they're doing it. They're reclaiming the title as the best amateur team in all of North America.
Absolutely. It's got to feel good for this team, not only winning it, but going on a full-on speed run. And to Cincinnati Fear, you know, I think they improved in the last hurdle for the draft. We started to see signs of life from this team. It was a bit more like the early game 1, but they just never got to that late game scaling factor. Darkwings was too big. They overstepped their bounds trying to get advantages, and you have to do it, right? You have to try and make those plays, but you know, if you're at a point where your Jinx is sitting on a side lane trying to get an inhibitor turret before everyone respawns, you know something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. And 100 Next, they did not fear the Reaper, and they didn't need to.
Cincinnati Fear hit the game over screen against the final boss of Darkwings. And you know who's really excited about this one, Pyra, is Aaron. He does not have to shave his head. There was no reverse sweep. And 100 Thieves Next do indeed get that 3-0. Congratulations to them.
It was a fairly safe bet. Yes, 100 Thieves Next. Massive congratulations to take another win here in Proving Ground Circuit Qualifiers. Really showing up huge. As you mentioned, obviously Darkwings is a big part of that team success. We've seen in Academy. Now we're seeing back in Amateur once again. But a huge congrats to them. We are going to go ahead and take ourselves a quick break while we're prepping up an interview and the post-game.
Welcome on back, welcome on back, because I do have with me my main man Blaze. Well, Blaze, I know. Look, losses do have to happen, but let me just talk a little bit about how you and the team are feeling right now. Because you said that, you know what, you guys are doing right now, doing okay.
Yeah. Losses. Hey, you gotta have some losses throughout your career. Today was one for us, but honestly, going from not so great start to a finals finish was, good track record for us.
And that's the biggest thing right there. So talk to me more about that development that you guys had, right? Because it cannot have been easy to be able to go week to week and really just make the progression you guys did, considering all the hours you guys are all putting in, right?
Yeah, so it honestly is really nice and like satisfying to see since the since the qualifier, we started putting in more work, scrim ethics changed and all that. So it is really nice to see like the work we put in actually show up. and it did bring us to this finals.
Okay, exactly that, right? Because I know week after week, many people were counting y'all out, thinking that there's no way they actually do this. You went up against amazing team after amazing team and made sure to let people know that, yo, we're here to stay. So I definitely do think you have a lot to be proud of, like, especially coming from here. Although you didn't come out on top today, it does not matter because I know you proved a lot of people wrong, which you can definitely hold in your heart.
Yeah, thank you on that one. Papa Smithy puts together great orgs, and the teams we have beat up to now, the competition wasn't like that hard, but 100x they put up a good fight.
Respect to that. Now, the real question is, though, what is next for maybe you as a team or maybe you as a player?
I think Cincy Fear is, we're staying all together, of course, to the next OQ. This result was not the worst, obviously we wanted to win the OQ. We're looking towards the next one. And in the end, PG is what really gets the eyes of all the scouts and academy coaches and stuff like that. So that's the biggest goal we have. Just gonna keep improving, keep the train going.
Of course. And now, final question for you as well. What is something that you want people to notice about you as a player, maybe about throughout this OQ or maybe the next one?
For me personally, I think compared to last split, I think I improved a lot on my individual stuff like laning, but a lot of it came from also working as a team more. Because improvement, you could always improve on laning and yourself the most, but being a good teammate is like a skill that you have to learn. Working together, whether you're a shot caller or not, you could still help lead the team. You could be a backup shot caller or something like that. And I think personally, me, like, that was the biggest thing I worked on.
All right, respect to that. Your guys' development is astounding, and I'm excited to see what you all do next, man. Blaze, I appreciate you talking to me, and good luck next week.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah, take care. We'll be back with a winner's interview from one of these next. See you guys soon. And welcome back, homies. I'm here with my man, Dark Wings. Yo, what's good with you, man? How you feeling?
Hey, dude. I'm feeling pretty good. How are you doing?
Bro, I'm doing... Firstly, thank you. Nobody ever asked me, man. I'm feeling pretty good, bro. Honestly, y'all give me a pretty quick series. I got nothing to complain about, honestly. So I'm doing okay with all that. But let's dive a little bit more into what y'all did that game. Because games 1, 2, and 3, y'all seem to like escalate somehow within scale. You especially. So just talk to me a bit more about your performance and how you think you did today.
I think for all these games, I think I played like relatively well. Much better than last week for sure. I think also like our team cohesion has gotten a lot better, and we're more on the same page now.
Which is super important, right? Because considering how, I've noticed in the past as well, it does take a little bit of time for y'all to eventually just, come together and decide, okay, this guy dies. But that's okay, because considering at this point, y'all looked absolutely immaculate. You especially, though, I gotta say. So what point in the game did you decide, I'm just gonna 1v5 this and we'll be fine?
Just, I'm Swain, so I'm just gonna pop ghost and run into them. And they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like, I think there was literally a fight in front of their base where you were alive for what, like 30 seconds the entire time. Ah, oh, Swain is a fair champion.
Yeah, it's very fair.
But let's dive a bit more into your own champion picks going from games 1, 2, and 3, because I found you brought out such uniqueness as well and some things that actually fit so well into the entire composition.
Yeah, first game, I think they blinded Ari, so I picked like Kassadin into it. The lane matchup's like pretty even. The most Ari can do is just like kill your teammates with the help of his jungler.
True.
I think so. Like once Kassadin scales up, it's like really free for him to just kill people.
Which is what you did. You did a lot of that for sure. And even game number 2, where you had Alessandra, it was so it was like the perfect game for you. And I gotta say, you must have been like smiling across the board, man.
Yeah, no, we're just thinking like, what could he blind? And then we're like, oh, Lissandra looks good here. And then they just blinded LeBlanc, so I was okay, just pick Lissandra.
For sure. Yeah, and game 3 as well, already the results speak for themselves, but let's dive a bit more into perhaps how you think you guys have developed so far as a team, all the way from OQs to even now as well? You were mentioning about team cohesion, but what are some of the other things that you want people to know that these are something that you really hammered down, really worked on?
Wait, sorry, repeat that again.
Sure. No, I was gonna say. So you talked to me a little bit more about how you guys are working on being on the same page, but what are some other things that you believe that you as a team have really improved on?
I think like planning, kind of. Looking at next steps, like how to play the map, stuff like that is stuff we're like slowly improving.
Right, for sure. And next up too, for you as a player, what can you say that you're proud of in terms of how you developed throughout the season?
I think I can. I'm much better at like gaining leads through just like looking at the map.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, and it showed because with all the roaming you did, you were everywhere, nowhere at once. And that was phenomenal stuff from y'all, and big congrats to you. Any final words and shout outs to all your adoring fans out there, Darkwings?
Shout out to my brother, his girlfriend, for letting me stay here with them. Shout out to my girlfriend and everyone watching.
All right. Shout out to everybody else out there too. Appreciate you, Darkwings. Congrats yet again on the wing, and I'm excited for what y'all do next. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Well, hey, look at that. Things worked out beautifully. You know, Darkwings is happy. I was thinking his career was climbing like the stairs that were behind him, but I didn't get to say that.
I can see it. I can see it.
Thank you. You know, I'm glad that at least somebody shares my vision. But homies, as we get to the final stretch, let's talk about that final game. Corey, I'll start off with you because the drafts this time were actually pretty solid.
Yeah, so I think Fear ended up making the exact changes that we said, like pick the Ornn versus pick the Wukong. And I think in the early game, we really saw how that was paying off. The Wukong was a lot more proactive on the map, making plays like the bot dive, the top dive, already a huge change from the other games. And like the Ornn, people don't see it as like a quote unquote strong laner, but he was doing way better than lane than in the other games. Actually was able to even get the dive off. And overall, like just way better from them. I think unfortunately like 100x, while their comp was a little different, not as easy to play. I think it really just came down to Darkwings having just a fantastic game, honestly. I think that's not a very easy mid matchup for Swain, and I think he played it really well. He was pretty much landing every E, and that helped his team actually set him up for like some of those fights on mid. And once he got ahead, he really took over the game. So props to him. I think he played really well. But definitely like a much more competitive game for the early game, which was exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah, and I think if we look at how you're played it in the other lanes as well, I wouldn't say Blaze really lost the lane. Sure, it wasn't optimal, but I think he did perfectly fine. He was farming up. Topside, Dragoon was winning on the Ornn as well, and I think that really allowed Trickster to give full play to his skills. And I want to point out Trickster for Fear, because this is what we were talking about. Give him an early jungler, somebody who can actually do something early, and then you get those beautiful dives coming in top, bottom as well. It helps out all your lanes, and it should have set Fear up for a beautiful mid to late game. I really did believe, you know, that they could win this one, and that they'd give me my 3-1 prediction, but yeah.
It continued to be close as well. It was dive after dive where it continued between both of these sides here in Curry. As you look at this first replay as well, I find that, you know, things did develop in a fun manner, but, you know, we got exciting stuff.
Yeah, so I think this is like just a great side from Fear. This is actually really high level stuff. The Fear like died in the 1v1. They have this wave slow pushing into the enemy. And it's really important that they dive on this wave for the game. So to go for it was great. Like, this is exactly what we wanted to see. Honestly, it was just great plays all around. I think that was a fantastic W from Sword to actually interrupt the Wukong E. But even though it was a 1-for-1, they killed the AD carry, they deny him all that CS. Fantastic play from Trickster, fantastic play from Fear in general. That just kind of like set up the pace of the early game, which is like, we're not scared. We might be down 0-2, but we're gonna make the right play. We're gonna be there. You know, Trickster's on the champion that he wants, and I think that was a great play, honestly, all around. Really fun stuff.
Yeah, and the reason why we were talking so much about this as well, Curry was telling me as well during the game that, if they don't do the dive here, they just got denied an entire wave. Sketch and Plux would have been completely shafted in that lane. So when we see Trickster pull off that dive, it's not just like, oh, hey, we're going to be able to get some kills, get me a hit sort of situation. It's okay, let's try and get Sketch, who is our win condition since Dragoon is going to be on that Ornn, up to a point where he can continue laning, continue being a factor, and, be that win condition we need to have.
And as things continued as well, where the win cons as well grew on the side of 100 Thieves. Especially there's one particular play that I think truly just speaks for itself. There's not a ton that we gotta say, so I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and watch it and experience it, because this is nuts.
I love it. How they made it even better than when we got the first cinematic there. Shout out to our production team, Hyper, Ibram, Luigi. You guys are absolutely nuts for getting that there. Yeah, like Smack says, when I called it the final boss, that's kind of what I had in mind. And that cinematic, chef's kiss.
That was nuts. It reminds me of if you've seen Naruto, where Pain is above Konoha and just the entire village looking at him like, and as he looks down on the masses, he says, "This world shall know pain." And yeah, it did. Everybody felt pain that day, bro. And I know Cincinnati Fear definitely felt that wrath. But as it continued, Curry, I want to get your final thoughts on the series.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, great series from 100X, first of all. Like, it's really well played to them. I think that they came in, they had a really clear identity, they had a really clear plan of who they want to be. And I think pretty much every game they executed on it. I think that they worked on, even closing out, they were doing a lot better this game. I think they really, really came through this game. We'd seen them been a bit shaky. So to see that was really nice. And I think the big thing for me is always, especially with these younger amateur teams, is if they can find their identity, and this team seems very solid. They know who they are, they know how they want to play, and they rely on their players to execute on that. And the players really showed up today. And I think as for Fear, I think they seemed a little bit more lost, especially in the first two games. But I think they still showed especially in the last game, a glimpse of what a really good team that they could be. And how good their players are, and some of the plays they were making in that last game are very high level plays, and it just didn't work out. Once the Swain got ahead, the game became really difficult. But I think that kind of recovery, that kind of poise, and I think we also saw Blaze in the post game interview, who he just had a great attitude. Honestly, he's 100% right. Sometimes you are just going to lose; it's part of competition. So props to them for not being so down and giving us a great series.
Yeah, for sure. And when I look at Fear, I'm so glad that Blaze says they're going to stick together for the next split, because a lot of times we see, teams swap out in between these tournaments. And I don't think we got to see the best of Fear just yet. I think we saw glimpses of it, like Curry said. And in the semifinals, we saw more of it. And I want to see all of it. So I'm so happy they're staying together. And we might get to see that in PGCQ Summer 2. And for 100 Thieves next, Curry, I agree, identity's great. And what I love to see, especially from them specifically in the series, was improvement. They looked so much cleaner in this series, and if they can continue bringing this into the next tournament as well, I am terrified for what we're going to see from 100 Thieves next year.
Who knows? But for now, they can celebrate in their victory as PGCQ1 is done. So appreciate all the teams and all the players, all the coaches, the managers, everybody who entered in, played, and made all this possible as well, and for putting on a fantastic tournament across the board, because I know these games were absolutely insane. To take a quick look back on, where we all stood in terms of our preds, some of us were definitely more right than others, right? It's a casters, some of them had faith. I think Travis always was the hot take, but I do respect Pyra for at least trying. But that also leaves D Merrick as well, Rebel Fox, all the way at the tippity top, the man with the most correct predictions. I know for us though, you know, we did okay. Look, I try to go for the hot take. I'm just trying not to get flamed on the off chance it happens, right? Look, I had to cover my backs, but either way, you know, y'all of course came out on top. Nobody had the 3-0 here, so we're all a little bit wrong, which is what matters. Because moving forward, what we'll see out of both these teams can most definitely vary, because PGCQ2 is coming up very, very soon with our team reveal show on June 25th. Y'all make sure to sign up if you want to get in. Things are closing up very, very soon. Open Qualifier as well start up on June the 27th. That's like 1 week away, 7 days exactly. So it will be something that you will not want to miss, and you can catch it right here on all of these channels with all of the playoffs and everything that's happening right in front of us. Of course, right after this following will be the Proving Grounds tournament between Academy and Amateur to crown the absolute best here. But with all that though, I do want to thank you all for being by my side. Of course, we appreciate y'all doing your thing. RMC looking dapper as always. My man Curry doing your thing, coming up, showing me up every day, bro, with the hair and the beard as well. Stop it. Just this ridiculousness as well. Y'all make sure to follow all these amazing people, of course, and everybody on the back end, all of our producers, all of our casters, right? And of course, our observers, our operators, our replays too. Specifically today, Hyper, Luigi, Leanne, Ebrom, and of course, Emily as well for making all of this possible. Thank you all for watching. Without all this, none of this could really happen. Now, with all that being said, I've been Ravish, the most ravish man on the internet. We'll see y'all next week. Good night.